Hey guys, Justin back with an engineer's perspective. I'm going to do a video on my initial impressions on the Victorinox Swiss Tool Spirit X. This is the box it comes in. Looks like all of the other Victorinox boxes. It's empty because it's on my hip. The sheath satisfyingly fits like perfect into there, so kudos to Victorinox, I guess, because it's kind of fun. But I got it over here. I'm actually rocking it in a Leatherman sheath because I prefer the snap to the Velcro, which Victorinox uses. I'm also using the side pockets. So right now I've got a micro stream USB, half of a pen, whole pen, Fisher bullet in the side pockets, then the Victorinox, and then that bit kit. So tool first, well, tool pretty much from here on out. Initial impressions, now that I've had it for a few days and kind of got to use it a good amount. If you go on my Instagram, you can see I was working it pretty hard on some stuff. Just overall design, it feels so compact and dense, and just gives that feeling of quality. So, you know, it has that, so that's great. Even my wife noticed it when she was kind of holding it and fondling it. She was kind of like, wow, like look at that, you know? So that's nice, but it's very polished, as is all Victorinox steel items, and it's a little bit slippery for that, but not a big deal. Let's kind of talk about the four main elements. So everything in this is fingernail accessible, but which was kind of a problem for me actually. I broke my pointer fingernail working with this tool, but now that it's broken in a tiny bit, I can just kind of shove my finger in there and then pinch it out. So only good blade. It came with one side at less than 20 and the other side at greater than 20 degrees. And I like to sharpen this on a Spyderco Sharp Maker. So I had to reprofile it, no big deal. The factory edge, I was digging and like twisting out of a 2x4, and there was like 5 chips in the edge. So A, you can chip this steel like any other steel when you've got a burnt factory edge, and B, it was very easy to remove those. So super sharp now, good blade. The saw, it's very skinny, which is kind of weird, but it's been really fantastic, as are all Victorinox saws on wood or plastic. So no surprises there. This one is giving me trouble. The scissors, it has a really hard pull. The retention that like keeps them in there so it doesn't rattle, overcoming that is kind of a pain on every tool, but particularly this and the Phillips. So here's the scissors, and everything that people say about the jaws not opening wide is true, that they don't. But in terms of cutting ability, they're every bit Victorinox. So for me, I don't really care that they don't open up big. They cut really well. And I cut through like, I don't know, 10 feet of denim the other day because I'm gonna make some denim strops out of some old jeans. So they work great, no complaints there. And then the file is a fantastic file. I honestly, sincerely use my file a lot for my fingernails. Not as good for that, but it does work. Especially in this dry season up here. Right now it's 34 degrees in this garage and it's like -10 outside. You get so dry that kind of this side of your skin next to your fingernail will start like peeling up a lot. And the diamond file on a Leatherman is actually amazing for like knocking that down before it turns into anything bad. But anyways, now that I've grossed you out substantially, so those are the outside tools. Now that I can pinch and grab them, they're doing pretty good for me. I like them all, honestly, I do. One thing I'll say is like on a Leatherman, how on the serrated blade, they've got these little knurlings, and on the standard it doesn't, and that's so you can index it, tell which direction it's facing without looking at it. And I like to do that so I can just pull it out and open up the blade easily and predictably. So right away I was like, gosh, shoot, like you can't do that on this. But what I actually do is you can feel the difference between this flathead and that Phillips. So when I pull it out, or rather if I'm like putting it away, pulling it out, whatever, like I can tell which side I'm on. So I always put it away and take it out the same. So I've gotten really in a really good rhythm of, you know, just like without looking, you know, blade, whatever. Internal implements, really good wire stripper, like that, nothing to say. I really love the thickness of this flathead. That's a huge plus over the Leatherman. All works good. I will say, people talk about the, you know, parcel hook, universal hook is like, why did they put it on there? Why did they put it on there? And it's just like, settle down, everybody. Like, they have to put these standoffs anyways, so they might as well turn one of them into a hook. What the heck? Why not? You know? So settle down. It doesn't seem that functional to me, but it's there. I'm trying to think of something notable. That's good. Okay, so next two implements. So this Phillips driver is particularly difficult to access. I can kind of shove my fingernail down under the Phillips and try to leverage it up, but this has been causing me a lot of fingernail troubles. So it's the stiffest of the bunch. Pretty annoying, honestly. Not the end of the world, but I'm hoping it'll break in, but yeah, it's kind of frustrating. Great Phillips driver though. This thing, when it seats down into there, it is ready to rock and roll. Obviously superior to the two-dimensional stuff you get from some multi-tools like on some Leathermans. I do wish it wasn't so polished, but I haven't had a trouble with it, so I can't really complain with like camming out or anything. The weak spot is this guy right here. Like on a Victorinox Spartan, the can opener is a great tool, or rather, yeah, the Spartan, because it has no Phillips driver, so this is a very good Phillips driver in that scenario, but you obviously don't need it with this tool. And this flathead is hard to use because it's so short, and the can opener is just kind of like not that useful. And I just really wish Victorinox would have moved on from this and gone towards the like hawkbill style that Leatherman uses, because this is a much more versatile tool than this is for me personally. Being able to use this tip to get at stuff. But, so this is a kind of a fail. This is like the only tool on here I almost never see myself using, except for opening cans, of course. So overall feeling of the tools is they're all very high quality. The lockup is great. I am having trouble with getting the scissors and Phillips out, and that's kind of driving me crazy, but I think it'll continue to break in. Yeah, everything's good. That was the thing that I was most excited about actually with this tool, is that I've kind of maintained that the Wave Charge series is more of a, what do you call it? A more laid back kind of multi-tool. It's not a professional tool due to its internal tool set on the one side, really. Whereas all of these are heavy duty, well thought out, good professional style tools for me, except for the can opener. So I really appreciate that about this, and they're all done well. Opening the tool, one thing right off the bat is there's this really satisfying, oh, too fast, like click when you close it. Super satisfying, like I said. But the problem with that is if you are trying to one-hand this thing, you can't. It's a pain. It's really freaking hard to do. Whereas on like a Wave, this Charge is really stiff since I put in the new plier head. But on this Charge, you know, once you break it, well, that's embarrassing. You can open it one-handed. I put in the rebar head on this one, and ever since then it's been really stiff. But on the normal Wave and before I did this, it was much easier to just whip it out one-handed. So that's annoying, not a huge deal again, but that one's pretty annoying. The pliers are free hanging, which is good, bad. You know, to me, there's merits to having it stay where you put it, and there's all merits to it being free hanging. So for me, it's kind of, you know, they each got their own thing, 6 one way, half dozen the other. The other thing I was really excited about with the Victorinox tools was this plier head. Without those replaceable cutters in it, it has a few extra of the teeth in the normal plier area, and Victorinox cuts them deeper than on a Leatherman. I was really hoping that with these comfortable handles, which I'll report they are comfortable, would give me some extra, you know, plying capability relative to the Leathermans. And I haven't really seen that. It feels, I'm beginning to believe that the limitations of the Leatherman Charge Wave and this are more handle related than they are actually plier head related. Just because there's no difference between the two. So yeah, I mean, and it works good. It's a good plier head, but yeah, it's just, I haven't so far really seen that advantage yet. Something that I thought was interestingly different on the Victorinox is that all Leatherman pliers in the needle nose section, there's actually an air gap. And I don't know, you can kind of see the peach of my hand. There you go. You can see that air gap and how they touch just at the tips. So they're parallel, and then at the very tippy tip they touch. On the Victorinox, it's actually like tapered. So instead of being parallel, the needle nose actually point towards each other, and instead of touching at the like tippy tip like Leathermans do, the last 3 of the knurls in there touch. So you have a bigger contact patch. I don't know about the taper thing, but I do like that you've got a slightly larger contact patch at the end there. So I do like that. The wire cutters, well, they're small, and that's kind of annoying if you're cutting thicker wire like that. But once again, you can get through it. Life goes on. But these notches they've got in here, they've got one on the bottom for hard wire and one on the top because I don't love the way they set that up, but I'll say is on very thin stranded copper wire, if you go into that top notch, it will cut them. And for me, that's a big deal because a lot of tiny control wiring gets to be that way. And all Leathermans will cut that when it's brand new, but as some of my Leathermans have broken in and been abused, is the pliers or the teeth don't match up perfectly anymore. Point in cases like on this free P2 is if I like twist the handles, pull this one that way, that way, it'll still cut it, but normally it'll just fold it over because it's been bent over. So only time will tell if this will keep doing that or not. But right now it will, and that's a big deal for me. So plier or the wire cutters, great, no, in a lot of ways, but do they do the things I need them to do well? Then yeah, so that's a win for me. The handles are every bit as comfortable as they need to be. Do I feel like an open wave, which I should have brought out here, but I didn't, that a wave's handles are more comfortable than this? I do. Do I think that it's enough of a difference to matter? I don't. You know, like the Charge's handles are way worse. And obviously the Rebarn Super Tool. Now, the Free is worse because it does have these protrusions, but I'd say they're pretty dang close. And this is actually a kind of a comparison in a way, is the Free to the Victorinox. They remind me a lot of each other. They've got these polished tools in them, the free hanging pliers, kind of a next level of fit and finish, I feel like. They remind me of each other, but you know, there's definitely some noticeable design philosophy differences in these, as well as execution. And that's what this tool is, though, is, you know, Victorinox is extremely intentional with their tools and their designs, and they do not take making changes lightly. and everything they do feels highly intentional and very well executed. So it's pretty nice. And I'll say this, as there is a like sound and feeling that this tool just has, as many Victorinox knives do with the way they come close. Like, it's got that. Actually, the last thing I'll mention is one-handed closing. So you can pull it back and it's kind of got a half stop and then flick it closed. So one-handed closing is easy to do. Yeah, so that's just kind of some quick thoughts on each of the implements as of now. I'll probably first do a comparison between this and the Wave as kind of the review process, but overall, really like it. Is it the total leap forward that I was kind of expecting? No, it isn't. There's merits to both types of tools, the Wave and the Spirit X. But is it a very, very good multi-tool? Absolutely, but we'll see. Oh, and I'll mention, I've been carrying this card, and this here adapter for the Phillips does fit and work. So I put together a few chairs the other day, so that works just fine. So I've been using that, but yeah, overall, very pleased with it. Keep using it. I'm gonna put it through the ringer in the next month, so we'll see how it goes, and I'll get some comparisons reviews for you guys, but that's all I've got. Have a good one. Bye.